Plan 14 à la guerre allemande. Mon général, the retreat across the Rhine is not great, but it must be recuperated. For this reason, I draw up the following directives. In the area of the north, somewhere probably around here, false provisional bridges for the army are to be built. And why do I say false? We shall employ deception, such as false wooden or wool mannequins or so forth, lined up in these areas to falsely make the Germans believe that a crossing will take place somewhere around here. Again, not exactly impossible, because then we can move south and all, blah blah blah. In general, deception shall be employed, my dear generals, in this area to believe, or to make the Germans believe, that a crossing is to take there. Obviously, some real troops should be there in case the Germans try to cross there. Secondarily, in this southern part of the Rhine, actual provisional bridges shall be built, however, exclusively under the cover of night or under strict security, as to prevent the Germans from learning about it and stopping it too soon. Again, to safeguard both this and this secret, deception shall be employed. Usage of the cover of the night, torches that could make the armies look bigger, so that this here grouping looks even more believable. False camps, false barricades, false letters. We may make messengers just drop false messages over the Rhine for the sake of, well, being found and giving a false impression that this here will be the absolute greatest crossing ever made. Of course, true concerns will be raised in such false letters to make it very believable. It's not going to be just shabbily done. Now, what will actually take place are two things. First, down south in Strasbourg, a bridge still stands, and that bridge is secured by French forces. One of the armies shall move across the bridge and north, again, towards Frankfurt. Another bridge, the provisional bridges which shall be built around here, will also be used for that crossing. Now, we are very well aware that the Germans will almost certainly wish to ensure a prevention of our crossings, even if our deception is the best, which it probably will be, as we will put strong effort to make sure that the Germans are falsely led around here, around this area. Then we shall still endeavor that the first who cross will be hussars and light cavalry, who can ensure that the Germans are kept back while the brunt of the army moves in and then delivers the punch. Of course, if the German armies are just not present, then all the better for us. Now, apart from the initial offensive planning, we must also take care of defense. Learning from the Serbs during the Balkan Wars, their revolution, Balkans Wars, the same thing. This smog is just not good. Damn Garibaldi. In any case, roads here and any potential shallow crossings are to be lined up with hidden barrels of explosive, and should the Germans make a crossing, this is also to be followed as best as it can be across the Rhine. Should the Germans move, boom, and explosion. Of course, it might require some sacrifice to set off, but who is to say? If it isn't needed, so be it. If it is needed, then we have brave French souls. So make sure brave men do the job. In any case, continuing on. The defenses here, first and foremost, would be the explosive welcome, as they would say. Second, before the offensives, artillery is to be lined up at key objectives. A few cannons will also be positioned around the false crossing, again, to make it as believable as possible. We want to make this a very busy looking place. An immediate crossing, and the crossing is to happen. And if the German High Command says otherwise, they just are fools, like any competent general will believe all that, which is again perfectly understandable, but you have to play dirty at times. In any case, should the explosive welcomes fail, these hills here are all to be used for guerrilla, for defense, constant ambushes. We must endeavor that all roads be filled with as much, excuse the term, bullshit as the German can walk through. Though to be clear, that is only to be done if there are the crossing of the Germans, if that one is to come, occurs, because just lining up streets for no reason isn't exactly smart. But when it comes, it can quickly be done. It's literally just throwing stuff over. In any case, defensively, the Rhine will be a first line of defense. It's a great river. It's a great way of defense. The second line, fall back, explosive barrels in strategic locations, roads, useful hills, any previous lines of defense we had, so forth. Third line of defense, hills, these hilly areas, and so forth. Around here, this patch of hills, possibly this, where artillery can do its job. Should all three lines of defense fail, then we must bring the Germans into open ground, defeat them there, and drive them back into the river. For the offensive, as we said here will be detailed a very well planned and very well secured for false crossing. There will be false bridges, false construction, so forth. It doesn't even need to be a good bridge, just put down planks. Make the German even believe that it's poorly done, that they can easily fight it off. But bring the Prussian officer to bear. We know from our last engagements that the Prussian officer holds initiative, and that if he sees an opportunity, he will run and he will grasp it, and that is highly commendable. And I cannot understate my respect for the Germans, even as the Emperor of the French. But here, that system must be made to fail. And how better to make it fail than to turn a massive opportunity into a lie? Now here is the deal. While these crossings over here in the south take place, again, either from Strasbourg and to the north, or in this actual crossing, which, to be clear again, shall my generals be kept a very closely guarded secret, but very well done, so don't fumble it. What is to happen if the Germans actually move against this area due to the false crossing? That's exactly what those artillery pieces are for. That if the Germans try and use that false crossing as a way to cross themselves, an explosive welcome will await them at the banks of the river, and then artillery shall pummel like nothing. In the south, same. If defense is to be done, it will be done very well. If attack is to be done, now the attack must follow a rather simple dance, let's so speak. So from the south, the army of Strasbourg, or corps of Strasbourg, whatever forces are present, crosses the river and moves upward, probably towards Baden or so forth, and moves north toward Frankfurt. Around here is to take an actual crossing. Now, I am not on the ground, so I cannot assess, but I do trust my competent generals to choose the best place for crossing, all things considered. Probably somewhere around here where the river is shallow, but who is to say? The men on the ground know better. Now, as I said, this must be done very well coordinated, that it shall be done by my orders personally. It will be done at night, if possible, in secret, and it will be done by professional engineers as best as we can muster. It has to be done quickly, and so it must be done quickly and at night. For this reason, whenever construction here takes place properly, twice the effort, fake effort of course, will take place here. Bring soldiers to pretend they are making something or so forth. Just make sure that German reconnaissance treats this as basically a transportation to the north. Yes, that's a good idea. Fake that that any movement here is just transportation to the north, where everything takes place here, and that the crossing here is imminent, an imminent crossing. Now, in any case, the goal will be, while the entire German army should be around here, we cross here from Strasbourg to Frankfurt. Now, there is also the high possibility that the Germans try something, so again, fall back to the defensive lines and do that. Should this happen here, it's a rather quick march from here to here. Bonus, all the defensive protocols will be highly useful should the Germans cross. Now, another thing, when we cross, we must act accordingly. Remember to minimize our own casualties. You have done so very well in the past. I congratulate my generals on that, and I wish to keep that spirit alive. But do not forsake victory. Frankfurt will be taken, as they say, by hook or by crook. And probably Baden too, but that's something else. In any case, avoid a direct confrontation with the Germans if it is not favorable. If you know that they have brought artillery and are on the hills, avoid confrontation. Go west or east. But make sure to keep, 1, yourself highly mobile, in the spirit of the French army, highly mobile. 2, keep yourself highly sophisticated, so make sure your reconnaissance units go a bit ahead of you. Don't rush into fog of war, basically. And lastly, make sure to keep the initiative. Always force the Germans to respond to you. Don't be responsive to them. How will you do that? Perhaps a good way, as possible advice to General Magnan and O'Donoghue, utilize his hussars as a sort of skirmish force, which will suddenly appear here. Bam! Yeah, the enemy is here. Or bam! He's hit. Just quick hit and run tactics that will scare the enemy. Now, we know von Wrangel is experienced, so we don't expect him to fail for every single idea. But this will be done, and this must be done with such precision that he believes it. Again, we understand that he is competent, and he will, actually, it's expected that he believes that something is a ruse. So that's why this has to be done so well, and why this will actually be masked as transports. Furthermore, actual fake landings might occur here, like openly fake, so that this looks even more real. Again, it must be an exceptional case of French deception and not logistics, just deception and work. Altogether, this can develop in 2 ways. First, the Germans cross, in which case they will be met with a fury of explosive defenses, not to mention artillery. And then, of course, the brunt of arms, barricades, so forth. On the other hand, they could just be shot down at the river. On the third hand, hypothetically, we could cross. If that is to occur, I also advise caution of German defenses. Again, utilize reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is your friend. You have horsemen, you have chasseurs à pied, you have so many possible forms of reconnaissance. Utilize them. Do not go in blindly. Again, same as in Italy, same as everywhere in modern warfare. Utilize reconnaissance and make sure the Germans never know where you are, but always know where they are. Utilize false planning, false flags, hussars all around, making sense-making movements, but unpredictable movements. Again, always keep the Germans guessing where they are. Make sure the old von Wrangel, in all his experience, has multiple choices to guess. And of those multiple, only one can be true. You must ensure that your chances are unbelievably high, because that's how you win a war. Additionally, make sure to support the corps that arrives from Strasbourg, if that is of course possible. Altogether, the goal of this operation is to secure the south area, while the north area is to serve as basically a massive diversion that will divert all attention in a very realistic manner. If we can capture Frankfurt, then we can move north, west, east, whatever. But the important thing is to capture this area, and for that to happen, we shall ensure that this here area just looks so much more like an area where the cross will happen, and where everything will occur, and where the decisive battle will occur. And where all the matters of state will be decided. Of course, again, on the ground, in a much more realistic matter, it won't be an epic speech saying, we cross here, but you understand, I trust my generals in this effort. Now, Again, I hold high hopes in you, my generals. I advise you to be initiative, to be glorious, to be ruthless in your pursuit of victory, and I wish you good luck, my generals. I wish you good fortunes. After that, there is not much else I can say to you. You have your objectives, you have my advice, full command, that is up to you. But remember, utilize deception, utilize your knowledge, and utilize your speed. And do not let the German outdo you. Our command structure might be more rigid, but that is exactly why this here diversion is to succeed. Their officers, in their competence, will fail. In this crucial hour, we will have to act on the idea that the German is not stupid, but that understanding all the information we give him, he will make the educated and proper guess that the crossing is to take some place somewhere around here. While in the meanwhile, we will, in total contrast, go south. We must be ingenious, my brave men. We must be ingenious. Good luck, my generals. Vive l'Empire et vive la France.